Hey everyone, hope you're doing fantastic. So, let's continue our recitation of the Bible. We're going to do the whole thing, very educational. Take a theology degree. Imagine if you say, hey, I've listened to the whole audio of the Bible, you're going to pass a lot of tests. So, let's begin. We are on 31, picking up on verse 17. At that my anger will indeed blaze against them in that day, and I shall certainly forsake them, and conceal my face from them, and they must become something to be consumed, and many calamities and distresses must come upon them, and they will be bound to say in that day, It is not because our God is not in our midst that these calamities have come upon us. As for me, I shall absolutely conceal my face in that day because of all the badness that they have done, because they have turned to other gods. And now write for yourselves this song, and teach it to the sons of Israel. Place it in their mouths in order that this song may serve as a witness against the sons of Israel. For I shall bring them to the ground that I have sworn about to their forefathers, which flows with milk and honey, and they will certainly eat and be satisfied, and grow fat and turn to other gods, and they will indeed serve them and treat me with disrespect, and break my covenant. And it must occur that what many calamities and distresses will come upon them, this song must also answer before them as a witness, because it should not be forgotten out of the mouth of their offspring. For I will know their inclination that they are developing today before I bring them into the land about which I have sworn. So Moses wrote this song in that day, that he might teach it to the sons of Israel. And he proceeded to commission Joshua the son of Nun, and say, Be courageous and strong, because you will bring the sons of Israel into the land, about which I have sworn to them, and I myself shall continue with you. And it came about that as soon as Moses had finished writing the words of this law in a book until their completion, Moses began to command the Levites, the carriers of the ark and Jehovah's covenant, saying, Taking this book of the law, you must place it at the side of the ark of the covenant of Jehovah your God, and it must serve as a witness there against you. For I will know your rebelliousness and your stiff neck, if while I am yet alive with you today, you have proved rebellious in behavior towards Jehovah, then how much more so after my death? Congregate to me all the older men of your tribes and your officers, and let me speak in their hearing these words, and let me take the heavens and the earth as witness against them. For I will know that after my death you will without fail act ruinously, and you will certainly turn aside from the way about which I have commanded you. And calamity will be bound to befall you at the close of the days, because you will do what is bad in the eyes of Jehovah, so as to offend him by the works of your hands. And Moses proceeded to speak in the hearing of all the congregation of Israel the words of this song until their completion. Okay, now we are in 32. So I think this is the song. Looks like, reads like a song. Let's see it. Oh, it will go on. Give ear, O heavens, and let me speak, and let the earth hear the sayings of my mouth. My instruction will drip as the rain, my saying will trickle as the dew, as gentle rains upon grass, and as copious showers upon vegetation. For I shall declare the name of Jehovah. Do you attribute greatness to our God? The rock perfect is his activity, for all his ways are justice, a God of faithfulness with whom there is no injustice. Righteous and upright is he. They have acted ruinously on their own part. They are not his children. The defect is their own. A generation crooked and twisted. It is Jehovah that you keep doing this way, O people stupid and not wise. Is he not your father who has produced you, who made you and proceeded to give you stability? Remember the days of old. Consider the years back from generation to generation. Ask your father and he can tell you, your old men and they can say it to you. When the Most High gave the nations an inheritance, when he parted the sons of Adam from one another, he proceeded to fix the boundary of the peoples with regard for the number of the sons of Israel. For Jehovah's share is his people, Jacob is the atonement that he inherits. He came to find him in a wilderness land, and in an empty, howling desert. He began to encircle him, to take care of him, to safeguard him, as the pupil of his eye. Just as an eagle stirs up its nest, it hovers over its fledglings, spreads out its wings, takes them, carries them on its pinions. Jehovah alone kept leading him, and there was no foreign god along with him. He kept making him ride upon earth's high places, so that he ate the produce of the field, and he kept making him suck honey out of a crag, and oil out of a flinty rock, but of the herd and milk of the flock, together with the fat of the rams, and mill sheep, the breed of Bashan, and begoats, together with kidney fat of wheat, and the blood of grape you kept drinking as wine. When Jeshurun began to grow fat, then he kicked. You have grown fat, you have become thick, you have become gorged. So he forsook God, who made him, and despised the rock of his salvation. They began inciting him to jealousy with strange gods. With detestable things they kept offending him. They went sacrificing to demons, not to God, gods whom they had not known. No ones who recently came in, with whom your forefathers were not acquainted. The rock who fathered you, you proceeded to forget, and you began to leave God out of memory, the one bringing you forth with childbirth pains. When Jehovah saw it, then he came to disrespect them, because of the vexation his sons and his daughters gave. So he said, Let me conceal my face from them. Let me see what their end will be afterward. For they are a generation of perverseness, sons in whom there is no faithfulness. They for their part have incited me to jealousy with what is no God. They have vexed me with their vain idols, and I for my part shall incite them to jealousy with what is no people. With a stupid nation I shall offend them. For a fire has been ignited in my anger, and it will burn down to Sheol, the lowest place, and it will consume the earth and its produce, and will set ablaze the foundations of mountains. I shall increase calamities upon them, my arrows I shall spend on them. Exhaust from hunger they will be, and eaten up by burning fever and bitter destruction. The teeth of beasts shall send upon them, with the venom of reptiles of the dust. Outdoors a sword will be reaved on them, and indoors fright, of both young man and virgin, suckling together with gray-haired man. I should have said, I shall disperse them. I will make the mention of them cease from mortal men. Were it not that I was afraid of vexation from the enemy, that their adversaries might misconstrue it, that they might say, Our hand has proved superior, and it was not Jehovah who worked all this out, for they are a nation on whom counsel perishes, and among them there is no understanding. Oh, that they were wise, then they would ponder over this, they would consider the end afterward. How could one pursue 1,000, and to put 10,000 to flight? Not unless their rock had sold them, and Jehovah had surrendered them. For their rock is not like our rock, even our enemies being the ones to decide. For their vine is from the vine of Sodom, and from the terraces of Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of poison, their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the venom of big snakes, and the cruel poison of cobras. It was not laid up with me, with a seal affixed to it, in my storehouse. Vengeance is mine, and retribution. At the appointed time their foot will move unsteadily, for the day of their disaster is near, and the events in readiness for them to do make haste. For Jehovah will judge his people, and he will feel regret over his servants, because he will see that support has disappeared, and there is only a helpless and worthless one. That's the end of that part. We'll do the other part coming up.